Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, world? Welcome to the Life Malcolm Show right here on In Touch News, where everybody is a star, and the biggest star is you, man. I'm your host, Life Malcolm. It's the Life Malcolm Show. It's been a little while. We used to be up in here every week, but lately, man, just a brother been on the move. Running here, running there. So it's a whole lot to talk about. Yes, there's stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. But let me go ahead and first say that this is a call-in show. You can call in. The number's 813-81. No, that's my number. You can't call that one. The number's 813-444-9588. That's the number you can call. And, just kind of chop it up. Also, would say that you can tune in on various platforms, of course, intouchnews.com, and you also have the In Touch News Facebook page and the In Touch News YouTube channel. So you can go there, tune in, leave comments, whatever. And that's certainly an interactive piece platform. So go there, do all that stuff. Gotta say, man, as is my custom, big shout out to DJ CEO and Mrs. DJ CEO, aka Tampa Bay Tammy, for putting together this platform, making it possible for us to have this show and others on the network. It's just tremendous of them to make sure that we can have real representation, not watered down versions of what's really going on with us. I really appreciate them forever being on the front lines of For Real News and taking bold and courageous stances, like letting me have a show, because that took some guts. And I don't know what he gonna say when he get on here, but we've been hanging around, no calls from the FCC or nothing. We've been straight, and so definitely want to appreciate them taking that leap of faith and investing in this show. So today, man, I just kind of want to tell you about what's been going on with me. And I don't know. So I guess some of the stuff we could talk about, like stuff that's been going on in the world. And it's been a few weeks, man. So I've been just immersed in so many kinds of things, having so many amazing experiences back to back. Even the experiences that have been difficult for me have been enriching. So I'm just really enjoying the living experience. And so just figure we just chop it up a little bit, talk about it a little bit, something like that. Oh yeah, as always, gotta thank you for tuning in. It's a big deal to have you watch, whether you watch live or whether you watch later what we've already done. Really appreciate you tuning in anytime you do. So start where? Let's start with this. And the reason why it's difficult for me to pinpoint a starting point, because I just don't remember the last thing you and I, that we discussed when I was here. But I know we did not discuss this. Just got back from St. Louis, Missouri. First time in St. Louis in a long time. Back when I used to perform poems, I used to frequent St. Louis, this club there called Legacy. It used to be a spot where poets could go through and do really well. There was always a lot of love from the audience and the promoters and producers of the event. Can't remember the name of the event now, but the venue the name definitely sticks out. But it was just always a really, really good time. But it's been a long time since I've been there. And whenever I was in St. Louis, I was only there mainly to do the show and, in a hotel, maybe go get something to eat. But, the show at night, hotel, rest, food, show again, and then, hotel, airport, bounce. But this time around, I was in St. Louis for almost three full days, and got an opportunity to see a lot of the city, especially the north side where Africans live. And when I tell you, it looks like somebody dropped a bomb on the joint. It's no joke. I mean, no exaggeration at all. The buildings burned up, the like windows blown out, the house, sides of houses falling down, and it just, I mean, it almost every other block has some property that looks like the Jackson House. If you're not familiar with the Jackson House here in Tampa, just Google it. Jackson House, famous spot for African entertainers in Tampa. Like those, that query should get you, and then of course, click your little images button, and that should get you an image of what the Jackson House looks like now here in Tampa. And I mean, like almost every block, every block, and sometimes several properties on a block, look like the Jackson House. And it's demoralizing to see African and people are living in those, not necessarily in the burned up houses, and the windows blown out, but right next door. Like I mean, the apartments, I guess you can call them. It's like four doors, like four front doors right there, like this door, this door, this door, and that door. And like people live in these things. It's almost like you can reach your hand through the wall and touch your neighbor. Right, so it's that close. And sometimes people live in one of those apartments where the windows and doors are just blown out, on this side, on this side. It's just a horrible kind of thing to observe. However, though, one reason I went to St. Louis this weekend was to participate in the Uhuru Solidarity Movement's conference. I can't remember the number of the conference, but they had their annual conference, and it was a tremendous occasion. I was invited there because I represent. Let me say it better than that. The Uhuru Solidarity Movement invited me there because I represent one of the so-called unindicted co-conspirators who is a member of the movement, the African People Socialist Party, and the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, along with the African People Solidarity Committee and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, have members who are unindicted co-conspirators in this indictment that the U.S. government handed down in the middle of last year. Some of you might recall that the FBI raided the Uhuru House in St. Petersburg and in St. Louis, along with houses and residences of several of our members. And as a consequence, we learned that several of our members are unindicted co-conspirators. So flew out there this weekend for, along with other council and others, other members, flew out there to participate in the conference. And one of the things that the Rural Solidarity Movement did was take us on a tour of what the African People's Socialist Party, along with the Solidarity Committee and the Solidarity Movement, have been able to do in the city of St. Louis. They have literally transformed the city of St. Louis. The African People's Socialist Party's leadership under Chairman Amala Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Onasene Yeshitela instituted this Black Power Blueprint, put a brand new red, black, and green basketball court in the middle of that entire community, which is an eyesore, like the whole community's just an eyesore, but they brightened up the community by giving Africans their own basketball court, red, black, and green, the colors of the African flag. I mean, it's well kept, looks good, state-of-the-art stuff. So they've done that. They instituted, the Black Power Blueprint they instituted also formed what we call Aquaba Hall. The Uhuru House is called Aquaba Hall. Aquaba is a word that means welcome. I think it's Swahili. I'm not sure, but Aquaba means welcome. So the Welcome Hall, the Uhuru House, sits right there in the north side. Beautiful place. The the organization was able to secure property, secure furniture, and I mean they gutted the place and redid the floors. There's stories of how women had to use the bathroom in cans in the cold as they gutted the place and refurbished the Uhuru House so that it looks like it is now. People put in serious contributions, sweat equity, real money, real time, to transform what was an eyesore, like many other edifices there in St. Louis, into this bastion of hope, the Uhuru House. Also, there are several apartment buildings that the African People's Socialist Party purchased that are going to function as homes for brothers and sisters who come out of colonial prisons after being prisoners of war, political prisoners behind enemy lines. They get to come out to a place, and these apartments I'm talking about are uplifting in this sea of what looks like disaster. These apartments that these Africans can come home to every day look like African pride, and some serious work went into making those. I mean, like furniture, like custom made accessories, brand new appliances, and all this stuff. And so it was just good to see. Oh, not to mention all of the history that that the movement has posted all along the walls and on doors and bathrooms. I mean, I forgot the people were outside waiting to use the bathroom. I'm just in the bathroom, looking at all the pictures and reading the walls. It's just such an amazing display of the history of the African People's Socialist Party's struggle for a better world for African people. And so it was just a great trip. It was cold. I mean, 40 degrees in St. Louis. It's not like 40 degrees in Tampa. I thought I was going to be all right. Now, I was all right, but a couple of times the chill hit me. I don't know if it's the wind coming off the water or what. But, I mean, I stepped off the plane, so I left Tampa, headed to St. Louis. I got on, it's like 70 degrees here, but still I had on my long johns, my thick socks, and my undershirt, long sleeve undershirt. But I always wear a suit when I get on the plane, so I got all that on. And I got off the plane, man, it was cold, brother. Chill to the bones, you understand what I'm saying? And so I didn't like that very much, but hey, we did what we could to prepare for the elements, and the elements got the best of us that night. Every night after that, I stepped out with a coat on. You understand, and it was good, man. Met some nice people. Had an opportunity to meet the attorneys, at least two of the attorneys with whom I'm co-counsel on this case in person. We've had several meetings on Zoom, but never met in person, and so it was cool just to hang out with lawyers who have the same interest in defending the African People's Socialist Party and these unindicted co-conspirators in the face of these allegations that in many ways seem baseless. So just to hear the zeal each attorney expressed over the weekend about the case, and about the defense, was exciting. I'll tell you another thing too that was very exciting. And you can go and watch it for yourself. The Uhuru Solidarity Movement set a goal to raise $20,000 on Saturday. $20,000 on Saturday. There were probably, I don't know, the room was full. I don't know, maybe 40, 50 people in the room, and several people watching on Zoom, of course, and whatever platforms they received the live stream. And when I tell you, it was just so impressive to see how many mostly white people unite with the African People's Socialist Party's call for reparations through the work of the African People's Solidarity Committee and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Just to see all this money pour in. I mean, they made the Uhuru Solidarity Movement achieve their goal over the course of the conference, just money pouring in because white people understand that they too have a role in this fight for freedom, in this fight for justice. These white people understand that white people are not don't have to just be spectators, don't have to just be people who express this empty kind of solidarity through apologies and charity, but understand 100% that that solidarity is best expressed by white people through reparations, and they pay up in a serious kind of way, and so that was just so impressive. And I've seen it before, but some of the but I guess I've seen the solidarity movement and the African People's Solidarity Committee do tremendous work that way. I think what was so impressive this time though is that I've never had the experience to watch the via Zoom fundraising happen, and so the it was like those TV telethons, man. The way the money kept coming in and ringing, and then people, when some give these huge amounts with a brief explanation of why, and it was an exhibition of hope, because I guess and here it is, right? I'm trying to figure out why was it so different? The reason why it was so different is because when in times past, I was in the room and I saw the fundraising happening live, people in the room. And but I also knew that the people in the room were likely people who were there because they wanted to be there, because they had unity with the concepts with the same line. So it made sense that they would contribute, that they would pay these reparations. It made sense. What made this thing different though is that people from all around the country, and maybe some places around the world, united enough with the line that white people owe reparations. White people can't get on the side of the right side of history and join humanity by giving reparations to make things right, to correct history instead of trying to rewrite history or erase history like some other white people do in public office and elsewhere. And so just to see the tremendous amount of unity spread around this country was the thing that made the difference for me, to experience that in real time, and because it's a testament to the fact that the half-century long work of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African People's Socialist Party is bringing about the world that we struggle so diligently to bring about. And so that was dope. Then the other cool thing about the trip was man, some good eating, bro. They had the best food. I got to tell you, we went to this Ethiopian restaurant, and if you know anything about me, I cook, and so it's hard to impress me with food. And of course, when I go out to eat, I look to be impressed. I peruse the menu to pick the stuff that I think is going to challenge my palate. And I'm going to tell you, we got to go to a break, but I'm going to tell you about some of the good eating I had while I was in San Diego. You might be surprised. All right, this is Life Mountain Show. Welcome back. I'm glad to be back. I look forward to seeing you on the other side of the break.
#1. When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at #1, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like #1 is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
Yeah, it's true. Yo. What's up, world? Welcome back to the Life Malcolm Show right here on In Touch News Radio, where everybody is a star and the biggest star is you. This is, of course, a call-in show. You call in at 813-444-9588 and hit us up, man. We just listen here kicking it, and right here, wouldn't you know it, lo and behold, one of the coolest persons in the world to kick it with just slid through the studio, man. The one and only Tampa Bay Tammy is up in here.
Good life, Malcolm.
What's going on?
I call it big time.
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to be.
Attorney life, Malcolm.
Yeah,
By his name, give him all his due respect.
Yeah, I appreciate that. How you doing?
Good. No complaints.
I love to hear that. So now, before you came in, I talked a little bit about my trip to St. Louis, Missouri, and I just about to get into this food stuff. I'm gonna just briefly talk about some of the good stuff I had to eat, and then I got you in here. It's been something on my mind. I haven't been in the studio in a few weeks, right?
What's bugging you?
So it's been stuff in my mind I've been wanting to talk about, and I just talking about it, kind of like. In a vacuum is one thing, but now I got the other side. Maybe I don't know. I don't even know what to think
this
about.
A woman.
I don't know. But let me just go ahead because I made a promise. I'm gonna tell everybody what I had. Some of what I had to eat that was so good in St. Louis. It's a doggone shame I don't remember the name, but it's the Ethiopian restaurant on the north side. I'm pretty sure it's the north side
of town.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's where all the Africans are. Yeah, on that side of the Delmar Divide, they call it. That's how.
Is it anywhere near the arch?
I don't know nothing about none of that. Hey. Oh, the arch. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The arch. Yeah,
See, that's always a landmark.
Okay, well, I stayed near the arch. I wonder why they kept coming up. I stayed at a hotel near the arch, right by the stadium. So, so it was this Ethiopian restaurant. Great food. I don't even know what it was.
Did they eat with their hands?
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's
this,
it.
And they spin the table around.
Yeah, that's we had a pan. You spin the pan around. Yeah, because we had a large party, so we had this long table.
Now, I'm nosy. What were you doing in St. Louis, Missouri?
Out representing unindicted co-conspirator, and so the African People's Socialist Party, and
somebody looking for me.
Oh, okay.
She gonna have to call me later. She
Okay.
didn't know I was live on air.
Okay,
so
all right.
We'll get back with her. Let me cut this phone off.
Okay. All right. So the African People's Socialist Party, the FBI raided the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement, and the African People's Solidarity Committee and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in July of last year, July 29th of last year.
Here or in St. Louis?
In St. Louis and in St. Petersburg.
Whoa, at the same time?
At the same time.
Because usually when they hit, they don't hit one place, they hit both at the same time.
5 o'clock in the morning, flashbang grenades.
What are they looking for?
Who knows? They claim the allegations are that certain members of the party and the
wait a minute, they bothering us and they got all these terrorists around here on the Capitol and insurrectionists, and they bothering the I can't even say the name of it.
Yeah, Uhuru movement. Yeah,
I've been hearing it because when we first moved here, they were very active in St. Pete,
right.
And they had a gym, and everything was all good. But we've never caused any problems.
Right.
And you hear me say we?
Yeah, right.
They black like me.
Right on.
Okay.
And so, the allegation is some kind of conspiracy to with the Russians. So to have some impact on elections.
Wait a minute, we supposed to have. They think we're teaming up with the Russians.
They said that the organization teamed up with the Russians. The Russians had to tell us to say genocide. The Russians had to tell us that.
Now, one thing, if we not gonna team up with, is some Russians.
So those are the allegations, and so I was. Some of the allegations.
So that's why you was in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, I was in St. Louis.
We didn't even know that was going on. That's been kept very quiet.
Well, you know,
need to write that. That need to be in a story or something.
yeah, it should. It should. I didn't realize. I didn't realize that it had
has
not
been under attack by
Yeah.
the FBI
Yeah.
for saying that we are collaborating with the Russians.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's been
that's
on. It's been
real
on a lot
crazy.
of stuff. So I didn't realize that it was.
Ain't
yeah.
on no stuff.
Okay.
You know it because you're an attorney and you fighting that case. We haven't heard a thing about that.
Okay, all right. I have kind of seen it on like CNN and stuff like that, but it
I
might
haven't
be
seen it on
because
that.
you know I'm tuned in and you know how they
And
the
I read
algorithm
the
send the
yeah,
stuff
I
that
read
you
the ticker
interested in.
tapes.
Yeah, you know. So yeah. But we need to do more to get it out because right now everybody's unindicted. However, the assistant U.S. attorney, the assistant U.S. attorney suggests that indictments are imminent, and so we need to prepare for that. You know, prepare
Have you
for that
spoken
defense,
with
et cetera.
anyone from the NAACP on that on a national level?
No,
Okay.
not
Shoot,
yet.
somebody
Because
need to
again-
contact them too.
Again, it's not much to do at this point because there are no charges. So they have everybody in this kind of state of purgatory. And
But one
uproar.
way to stop charges from even happening is to know that we are aware and to leave us alone because they quietly do things to us.
Yeah.
Now they publicly do things and they still are not bothered. Some of them been locked up, but it's a lot of them still free from that insurrection. So I cannot believe they are bothering us.
Attacking bank accounts. They said they got to come get all your money out the banks. You know, Regions Bank. Yeah, we're closing all accounts, and we're calling in all the mortgages and loans. All the mortgages and loans are due right now.
Huru
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah. We have
participants or members.
We have not. We're not just that. Not that specific, but we have organizations that have relationships like AppDef. It's a nonprofit organization through which the Uhuru movement is able to contribute to the community. And so, like for example, I think the basketball court might be one. Well, for sure, the bakery, Uhuru Pies and Bakery at Jico Kitchen, they already purchased the land, did some stuff to the building. I think already have something like $125,000 in it. They owe $75,000 on the mortgage. They're calling it in right now.
My God.
There's another property, something like that.
Now I know it's some rich black
Like
man need to come up there and
$160,000,
take
something
over
to that
that
effect.
loan.
They're calling in the mortgage due right now. You know,
Ooh.
after 20 plus years of carrying on business with Regions, you know, never missing
Regions
payments.
Bank?
Regions Bank, never missing payments, paying off mortgages and equity loans on time, etc. This is what Regions has done. Matter of fact, Regions now, I say now, maybe that person was there before, but we know that right now, Regions has a member of the FBI sitting on their board. And a guy who works for Regions is a former FBI, current FBI, something. to
Well,
that
you know,
effect.
we got friends in the FBI, CIA, everything else. So I don't care about your association. I only care about when you're attacking us.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this person is in the bank leading this attack.
This attack.
Right. Yeah. So that was what the St. Louis thing was about.
Man, that is so. To me, that's being prosecuted without being charged.
Yeah. It's
Really?
it's definitely.
That's why I need to know
an
some more
attempt-
rich black folk.
It's definitely an attempt to cripple the Uhuru movement's ability to transform the community into a self-sufficient community, into a place. Chairman will say that it's not that they don't want us to feed, to eat. They just don't want us to feed ourselves. They don't want us to be able to do for ourselves.
Is it something like when they attacked the Black Panthers back in the day?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. The FBI has a history of attacking African people. The FBI came into existence as a consequence of trying to shut down Marcus Garvey.
Okay.
That's what J.
That
Edgar
was the
Hoover was all
beginning.
about. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover's whole thing, he made his wings. So attacking the Garvey movement. That's how the first African got into the FBI as somebody who could sneak into Marcus Garvey's organization. That was the first black dude in the FBI. So the FBI has that history. It was the FBI along with the Chicago Police Department that murdered Fred Hampton on December 4th, 1969. There's irrefutable evidence about that. The FBI has been at it a long time. FBI was after W.B. Du Bois, right? Du Bois, however he says it. FBI I mean, Fannie Lou Hamer, attacked her, attacked even MLK and Malcolm. I mean, and of course Huey. It's always been FBI, against African people. The whole objective of COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program, was to prevent the rise of a coalition of black organizations who were seeking social justice.
So was COINTELPRO under the Reagan administration?
Say again?
COINTELPRO. What was that? What administration pushed that?
The counterintelligence program. Well, maybe when Reagan was governor, but
when he was governor.
Yeah, but counterintelligence program was something that came up out of the FBI's office. This is
okay.
during Hoover's reign.
Okay.
Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover.
You so smart in life. You know stuff going on, but I guess they hired the right one.
We have a good team.
Well, now, how do we need to handle this financial situation? To me, now if they got mortgages that they are calling. I can't even think of the word. See, that's the same.
Mature to do.
Yeah. Well, it's a term for it.
Okay.
When it becomes due immediately.
Okay.
Isn't there? Yeah, that too. But isn't there some people or someone that can pick up that mortgage and just let it go? Should we be seeking someone like that? Like, should I be looking for somebody to pick up the mortgage for this Uhuru moment and they take on the payment?
The bank wants their money. So
right.
Yeah,
so the bank can have their money and somebody else can carry the mortgage.
I don't think they care. Yes, I'm saying I don't think they care that much about who. So I mean that seems like a viable option.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, bump them next. Let's move to the next level.
Yeah, that's it. I'm saying that seems like a very viable option. I don't think the bank cares. They just want their money in. So
regions just want their money. So we need another black bank. There are some black banks.
We need somebody who's not going to be compelled by the heavy hand of the government, because I'm sure it's not just the whims of regions. You know what I mean? It's the United States government attacking what the chairman's
whatever
done.
Bank that has it.
Yeah, I mean, the attack is on the chairman, and if they can cripple the money, then they can make sure that we don't have basketball courts. We don't have. As a matter of fact, the morning that they attacked the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement, we were getting ready to have our first doula school. And birth doulas.
My
so we had these African women, in class getting ready to do that. This is the work of the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement. We have organizations that fight against CPS, the Child Protective Services, who come in and snatch African children from their parents and make it so the parents can't see the baby, touch the baby, hold the baby. Got to go through this extreme process in order to get their own child back. The party's done a lot of work to transform communities, both in St. Petersburg and St. Louis, where we were attacked. And one important thing about it is they had to attack the Solidarity Forces too, which is the right organizations that work under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, which meant for the first time, unlike back in the 60s when the FBI attacked African people through the Black Panther Party, they didn't have to go and attack white people. But the chairman, determined to see the black revolution of the 60s to a conclusion after the military defeat by the U.S. government, came up with the strategy to make sure that white people participated. So if they go in to attack the Black Power movement, they couldn't just attack black people. They have to also take it to the south side of St. Pete, the north side of St. Pete, and the south side of St. Louis. And that's what they had to do. And so that's one reason why the chairman and the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement have lasted for more than 50 years. Because of this brilliant strategy.
You were in St. Louis. You all were. What's next?
What's next?
I'm always saying what's next.
Yeah, what's next for this particular case is we're waiting on indictments to come. And so we're in the process of fundraising.
How many unindicted conspirators are there? Co-conspirators are there?
Right now, there are 4 unindicted co-conspirators. The chairman, Omali Yeshitela, is one.
Is he here or is he in St. Pete? I mean, in St. Louis.
He's in St. Louis right now.
Okay, and is one of the mortgages that they're trying to call on, is it in St. Pete
or St. Louis?
I think they both might be in St. Louis. Right?
St. Louis, okay.
But of course, the bank accounts, I think there's something like 20 institutions with with bank accounts in regions, connected to regions, something to that effect. So it affects more than just.
So are they freezing their money, or they're letting them
I
get
think
their
they're just
money?
saying you got to get the money out. I didn't get the indication that they were freezing money. They don't
Well, shoot.
do that right now.
Nice switching. Well, at this point, to me, we need to be doing research as far as where you want to take your money, because it's not regions anymore.
So again, that's kind of outside my purview.
Okay.
I'm working the
Okay.
criminal case,
Okay.
and it's not
Okay.
much to do there. I'm just
Okay.
able to talk about these restrictions, these sanctions
We didn't even
that-
know what was going
that
on.
they put on the party, because the party just had this fundraiser over the weekend, and also putting out mass propaganda, inviting people to take on this struggle and make it so that they can't that the government can't liquidate all this hard work that the party's done, all this money and time that they've invested into these communities to reshape them. So I can speak generally about those sanctions and how important it is that people do what they can to, and so that's why I say St. Louis was tremendous, just seeing all these white people all around the world donate to that organization, that white organization led by the party.
Wow. So it's not as, it's more diversified than they thought it was going to be.
I don't know what they thought, but what I can tell you is there are hundreds of white people that work happily, zealously, and sincerely
The world
under
has
the
changed.
under the leadership
It's like the government
of the African
does
People's
not-
Socialist Party.
I'm saying the government. It's a few bad apples at the top who does not want us to be unified, but we are the human race. That it is changing. It's not the black race, the white race. We are the human race.
Well, I mean, we are the human race, but we're the different nations in the human race, and there are exploited nations and exploited nations, and we got to do what we have to do. We can't all be the same as long as we have that demarcation between us. The only way to be the same is to get rid of these people who exploit other people, so that we have no more exploitation, and then we can all get along. Then we can all
get along. I heard that.
can't just we can't be all together on the plantation. You got the whip and I got the scars. We not together. We gotta.
Well, but you saying the ones that are helping you ain't. Don't
Oh yeah,
have the whip.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But see, they come on over here. They down to take the scars, and they down to take the whip.
Well,
So-
we're gonna be right back.
Yeah, we're gonna be right back and talk a little bit more about that,
nowhere.
because it's a brilliant strategy. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the other side of the break, man. This is the Life Malcolm Show, sitting alongside the one and only Tampa Bay Tammy for the rest of the night.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers on the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Yo, what's going on, world? Welcome back to the Life Malcolm Show. I'm your host, Life Malcolm, and you're right here on In Touch News, where everybody is a star, and the biggest star is you. Call-in show, 813-444-9588. I think the phone works. I don't know. I haven't heard it ring, but it might mean that you're just sitting back and enjoying what we got going.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna use that. Enjoying what we got going.
Oh man, yeah, you know, hey, we got a couple of them,
Little
little rhymes left in us. You know, if you don't know, back in the day, we used to throw down.
You were the best of the best.
We did our best, that's for sure. So, before we left for final break of the evening, we talked a little bit about the Uhuru movement and attacks on the movement. But before that, I was talking about St. Louis and the food I ate while I was there. It was important to say something about the fundraising. I promise you, next time we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more, have details for
you.
You
didn't tell me about the fundraiser, but come on with the food.
Well, it's really not much more to tell, but it's something else. Since I have you right here, I'm gonna take advantage of it and switch gears completely. Because so the food. So over the next 12 minutes, we're gonna talk about things that I've experienced since the last time I was on the show, and one of them I want to pull you in on some back and forth discussion. And so here we go. One of the things that I experienced was food in St. Louis. The Ethiopian restaurant was super dope. Enjoyed it. They had like all vegetarian stuff there. They had like some cabbage, lentils, some kind of lentils and rice stuff, and some something else. I don't know.
And you eat it with your hands.
Yeah, with your hands. That real soft, like bread like stuff. And then at the conference, they had lunch prepared by these brilliant sisters who could make like faux tuna out of like fake tuna out of like carrots or something. It didn't fool me, but it feel it was fulfilling. It like it didn't leave me like
it wasn't
this don't
meat,
taste
so
like no tuna,
meat.
right? It was
meat.
it was no meat, but it was like good though. They really took their time to make it taste like it, get the
But it was
texture close.
vegetables.
Yeah, vegetables.
Vegetables, no meat.
Yeah,
bread
no meat.
and vegetables.
Oh yeah, all that. And so we had falafel and hummus. And that was good. And then
No
afterwards,
buffalo cauliflower.
no, I didn't have
I know
that.
that cauliflower that tastes like buffalo chicken.
Yeah, I like that too. I can make that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I got cauliflower in the refrigerator right now. I did cauliflower the other day and put it in my greens, like like people put meat in the greens.
Okay.
Yes, I did my cauliflower like that, put it in the greens. But back to St. Louis
I'm going
food.
to share that one day. Okay, come on.
Back to St. Louis food. The last thing we had was just a bunch of stuff cooked by these sisters. I can't even remember what it was. Like I don't know the names, but it was like just vegetables. Like this, it had these like lentils with onions and rice, and then there was this other dish. Oh, this was the eggplant with tomato and some kind of sauce. And I mean, it was just laid out great food. Just African people,
doing that thing.
fellowshipping with each other, and I mean, I'm talking about throwing down on some healthy food. It was just vegan cookies and whatnot, just good.
And
man.
he
Just-
does not look like he a straight up vegan because he is fine
I'm not a
and he
vegan.
cut. You're not.
No.
Are you a vegetarian?
I'm a pescatarian, so I eat fish and seafood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I eat a lot
Because
of.
everybody I know who does not eat meat, they have a tendency to be really, really small.
Really? I'm not small.
No, by no means. He
no.
100% stallion.
All right,
Mandingo.
okay. So other stuff that happened to me over the break. My youngest daughter started driving. She,
Your oldest, youngest.
yeah,
daughter,
the
'cause your
oldest of
second
the,
set.
right, the oldest of the two youngest. She started driving, got a permit.
Uh-oh.
she-
You nervous, right?
For the first few days, she had me, but now she's smooth with it, and so it's good. My youngest daughter, my baby child, got accepted to Academy of Holy Names.
How?
So yeah,
Love
so
that.
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
She-
Where did you go? You
I
went to
Jesuit. Yeah.
Okay.
So she wanted to go to the academy too, and so really
So
excited. Yeah,
congratulations.
really excited. So that's good. So both of the girls, kind of made some landmark moves since the last time we've been on up here in the studio. What else changed? I was able to present to along with Uwezo Sudan and Kurt Young.
I don't know who they are.
You don't know Zoe and Kurt Young? I'll say so. Uwezo Sudan is a storyteller. Babalawo, he's a priest. A storyteller. He's been in the area
Griot.
for a long time. He's
Yeah.
been in the area for a long time doing poems,
Okay.
telling stories,
See,
etc.
that's your world.
Really, really good friend. He was the guy who led the Grilling Chilling and Community Building ceremony for the 8 years we did it.
What's Zoe's government name?
I'll tell you off the air.
I know Zoe.
Yeah.
You
I
know
know
him,
Zoe.
Tammy.
Beautiful brother.
Yeah,
Beautiful brother with a smile, gap
Right.
in his mouth, long locks.
I think you know him.
Always
Okay,
smile.
okay.
And so, Kurt Young is Lena Young Green's son. You know, Owen Young, former principal of Middleton High School, does something now with the county. And you know Lena Young Green? Really?
See, you born and raised here. You
So
got
Arthur
history.
Green, y'all
You
heard the
know
name
it.
Arthur Green Jr., who the police snatched out the truck and killed. You heard me talk about him before. So that's that family. Lena Young Green's been been an icon in the community, just fighting all the time. And she has the center over there in the Springs she's had that now for almost, I guess, it seems like 10 years. Just a tremendous woman, and her sons are all super dope. But anyway, Kurt, Zoe, and I used to work this thing we called Aim First Collective, and it was just the three of us, and we would put together these programs based on movies. Like one film we did was Bastards of the Party. Another one was an African Liberation Day film, and so we brought in this professor who taught at Clark, and they just renamed a building, or actually a department, after Dr. Mac Henry Jones. And so
At Clark University.
yeah.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, Clark, Atlanta. And Kurt is the department chair of political science. And they
Okay.
just renamed after Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones is like,
So he was instrumental
something like
in making
88
that
or something
happen.
like that. And so we were able to present him a nice crystal. I wasn't there. I was in St. Louis. I wanted to go, but I had to go to St. Louis.
Okay.
But we were able to present him a nice crystal. And in so doing, had to go through some pictures to try to find something that we wanted to memorialize. Just took that trip down memory lane and had some appreciation for all the stuff that we used to do, and then some of the stuff that I used to do, which brings me to the final topic.
Which
Got
is
about 8 minutes.
what?
So over the course of time, I've tried to bring events to the community that would not only entertain the community, but would push us forward, somehow touching sensitive and controversial subjects all the time. And one of the things I wanted to do,
You wanted something that wasn't just going to entertain you, but also enlighten you.
yeah, and shock you.
Okay.
One of the things I wanted to do was this thing called Inside Scoop. I did it. It's called Inside Scoop. It never worked like I wanted it to work. But the premise was it would be a group of men sitting around talking like men talk when ain't nobody else around. No women.
That should have been
just
your
us.
show.
We
One day a
talking.
week. Well,
Oh,
this is
well.
1 day a week.
We talking, right? We talking, and the thing is, women sit around and listen.
But we can't come in.
Can't say nothing
But
until
that
it's
needs to be
over.
out in the...
Until it's over,
that, I
and
like
then
your thing.
then you
Okay.
can ask questions, and
Ah.
everything was cool.
Okay.
Like the women, well behaved, no matter what.
Come well behaved.
I'm saying,
He
like,
sound like a
I'm saying
Muslim.
they stuck to the rules.
Okay.
Like, no, they we said no talking. No, I mean, they were just chilling.
Yeah,
you know
we
what I mean?
chill.
They, you see this a little bit, but for the most part,
my
chilling.
turn.
Right.
Okay.
But the failure was the dudes, like, cause we'll sit around, man. We have dinner, we get cigars, we just kind of warming up, practicing.
The failure was
and like, and
what?
this is how we gonna do this when we get on stage. Like, we talking this, we gonna say this.
failure
The
was-
failure was these jokers got up here and clammed up. They wouldn't be honest. All the stuff they told me they did, how they did it, who they did it with, they got up here and got amnesia.
They said they had to live after that day.
Got amnesia. But they made a commitment. I did too. But the thing is, now you got this dude I did not hear of, and I say this dude, and I don't mean saying that, in a way that sounds disrespectful. He's a
Okay.
really respected brother, Kevin Samuels. I never heard of him before he died, and I've been listening to him lately, and
Oh, yeah. He was, yeah, I've seen, someone sent me something
yeah,
on him.
I wanted to know if you had some thoughts on him.
One man's opinion,
I think
limited experiences.
Go ahead.
Can't apply to all women. I only heard one
Okay.
or two shows, a piece of it.
Okay.
So I'm like, everything is relative. Now, he was dealing with his personal experiences.
Okay.
So you dealing with yours.
But I would have to push back and say, but I
He
feel like,
was wrong
I feel like you
on-
might be. I think you might be at a disadvantage because you.
I'm a woman.
No. That's
I
that's an
didn't hear it
advantage
all.
because you didn't listen to much. Because the difference is between what you said and what he presented was it wasn't. He didn't talk much about his experiences.
No,
However-
but he talked like he knew it
Hold
all
on,
about
hold
us.
on, hold on, hold
So
on.
I said he had
Hold
his
on, hold on,
experiences,
hold on.
his mama,
Hold on.
his
He
girlfriend,
talked
his
about,
auntie.
but what he talked about most importantly were facts, like 1 in every 4 black women in this country get married.
Oh,
That's a fact. That's
Okay.
not just based on his experience. He
Okay.
talked about the fact
But
that
why he thought was
he talked
his
about the fact that if
experience.
1 out of 4 get married, if 25% of women who want to get married, 100% of women want to get married, those 25% of women who do are very fortunate. Now you have this 25% of women who get married. They all want this, 1%, 5% of men who make 6 figures. And he's like, that's not mathematically possible.
No, that
So
is true.
now when these men are selecting this, 1 out of 4, he's picking 1 out of 4 because only 25% gonna get picked. When he's picking, what are you bringing to the table? What is what he phrased, and I'm not saying he coined it, but he would use this phrase often, your sexual market value.
Your sexual market,
Right. What is how does your face rank? What's your education like? Were you born to, were you raised rather to be a wife? Are you fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, and submissive? Those kinds of things. And he would tell a woman, he said, how old are you? If you're 34, 35,
You almost
you competing with these 25-year-olds. You got a baby daddy. That's taking. You don't have no husband.
Yeah,
that's knocking stock off your sexual market value. It's just knocking you down a peg.
Okay.
Are you fit? You 5 feet. You 5 foot tall, 5 feet wide. You're not fit. You saying he would say
And you wanna be picky.
what if women are how women take care of themselves directly express how they feel about the men in their society. So if women are undisciplined enough or not disciplined enough to take care of themselves, they're saying to their men, you just take what you take.
wait a minute. So they're undisciplined enough, and that's why they don't want these other undisciplined men. So you saying you undisciplined, go and get with an undisciplined man because the top of the 10 want a 10. Now I do believe that the 10 want a 10, the 9 want a 9,
Right.
the 8. Well, everybody want the best they can get.
But I don't think he's saying go get that. He's saying get yourself in shape. Because the one thing that you can change is your
you.
fitness. You can change that before you can change your price bracket or your education. You know what I mean? You could your tax bracket
And
your
your
you could-
education don't work
right,
for women.
But you can
Anyway,
right. He would
it
say
really
that.
doesn't.
We like you
'Cause
said, you
most
won't
of the men
fit.
they got their
you
own
won't
money. They
fit,
just want trophy.
fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, and submissive. That's the argument. And so if you get a baby daddy, why you don't marry that dude? And if you don't marry that dude, you can only get in the future. You can't get better than that. You can't have a baby from a garbage man and then try to go get a doctor because the doctor always gonna be looking at you like, but you let a garbage man have get you a baby like. And so these were the arguments he would make based on not just his experiences, but like out here in the real world, being it.
Now you're gonna make me go back and listen. And he died suddenly too.
Yeah, it was, after waking up with some woman. But he was. Yeah, he was with a woman. When he died.
Didn't you just read
What?
this morning that very few people die after having sex?
Yeah, I sure did. Just read that.
Very few people die after.
Having sex.
Dang,
Well, because
Very few.
that's scary.
I was happy.
You know why that's scary?
Why?
Because I know several.
That's because
and
they
if
had
it-
some additive. They
I
probably had
wouldn't.
some
I'm
help.
not saying one
So-
way or the other. I'm just saying
They had some
for it to be
Viagra.
very few.
Yes,
I
that's
know
what we
like
read
10.
exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
we just read
I'm
it
just
this
saying.
morning.
But
And
see,
I
my
know 10
blood
of them.
pressure, well, my beats per minute were low. So I looked it up, and I was like, why is my, because I had just had a great time, so
Yeah.
I was checking my blood pressure.
Yeah.
I like to check my pressure after sex. I like to check my pressure after weed.
Yeah.
I just try to learn how my
Right.
body responds
100%.
to things.
I'm on it
So
all the
it
time.
was simple. It was low.
Okay.
So I was like, what the deal with this? But I
Yeah.
felt good. I still got up one rode my bike and
Yeah.
did everything. I had a great morning.
Yeah.
But I had a 47.
What number? Top or bottom?
Heart-
No, that was my blood pressure. That
Heart
was my
rate.
beat per minute.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I thought it wasn't.
I mean, if it's good for
They
athletes.
say for an athlete. Hell, I ain't no athlete. But you know what? My cardiologist told me I was an athlete. I said, no, I'm not. But you know, I used to be. I used to teach dance. I was in dance.
Yeah.
I don't do half what I do. Ride my bike every day. But that's just because I'm trying
I
to.
certainly
get
can't
better.
help. Okay, look like we
Yeah.
got to get about it. So yeah, what I
we
want you
gotta
to do.
pull. I'm sorry.
What I
I'm
want
going back
you
and
to
listen to Kevin.
do that, and then we can talk about because
I
it's
heard
important
a piece
because
of
there's
show
so
and I was pissed once I
like
listened
because
to
you
it.
already know like I ain't grow up around. My mother and my father split when I was 3 months old. My mother and my grandmother raised me.
Okay.
You know, and so I
didn't grow up in the
it's a-
house with
right.
me.
It's a lot
I
of
done
stuff
had
I
my
didn't.
daddy, my granddaddy.
A lot of stuff I didn't
generations
learn
of men.
until later in life. And if I had heard somebody like Kevin Samuels when I was teenager, early 20s, I'm sure that would have influenced the decisions that I made.
You did
You
pretty
know what I
good.
mean?
I mean, it took you a minute,
It took me a minute.
but you did
40
pretty
years,
good on
you
it.
know, bro.
But you're a smart guy, so you came to your senses. You like, wait a minute. It's just like we teach our girls. You can marry a rich man as well as you can marry a poor man.
Right,
And then that's the same thing with the Bible about being equally yoked.
right.
So hey, he had some great points. Now people didn't like him
Yeah, yeah.
because it hit home. I heard
And
some
some
girl
people
was
say the delivery.
crying on the
Yeah.
arguing,
Some people would
crying
say
and calling
delivery,
acts and
but
stuff.
you know, there's an African proverb that says, "I tried to point to you the stars, all you could see was my fingers." You know, so people get lost with that his tone. And I used to tell people like if you had to, it's back when I worked construction, you had to go to the porta potty. I say if you knew it was $1 million in the bottom of the porta potty, would you reach down in there and get it? You know I would. You know, it's
'Cause I can
nasty.
wash my hands.
You got to go through the mess to get the stuff sometimes, you know, and yeah, all right, look, we done been cut
So-
off by the producer several times.
Wait a minute.
We
So,
want to
but
come
you
back.
don't let me know that 47 was a good. I read that too, but then I thought it was still bad because they said something about bradycardia. Or
Brady
something.
Carter, yeah, that's when
That
it's too
could be-
slow. Yeah, that's a part of tachycardia.
If it's too much. or
Right.
something.
Yeah, that's how I
Yes.
know I had my first heart attack. My heart was beating like 40 beats per minute.
You had your first heart attack. You
Yeah.
had more than one.
Well, actually, I
We
don't
gotta
know
go,
my
y'all.
first-
We gonna come back
Hey,
with that.
we'll talk in the future.
With Big Fine and had a heart attack and more than one. Okay, that's a new conversation.
All right, we talking about.
Hey,
All right, y'all, this is Life Nelson Show. We'll bring your host.
I was gonna say-
Hey, this is the Tampa Bay
I
Tampa
was
Show.
about to get stuck. See y'all.